Linkso. Yeah?
Yeah, why did I forget his name? Okay, cool. So the third episode is about Linkso and also Slithe, right? So the idea in this episode, was to kind of reestablish the mutant thread. Slithe hasn't been in the first couple of episodes, and we wanted to create a little space because he was kind of featured in the last series. So what we told people with Monkey and Jackalman was like, hey, you want to go kill Thundercats? And they were like, yeah, let's do it. It didn't take much motivation because they're kind of crazy and, just a little more bloodthirsty. But when it came to Slithe, we never told you why Slithe wanted so badly into the Thundercats lair. Which we said, set up in the first episode or the second episode, I guess, when we revealed him coming in and wanting to, take out the Thundercats. So this issue deals with that, or this episode, and the idea is that we catch up with Linkso, and he's a prisoner of war, being held by the Lizardmen, and he was captured at the fall of Thundera. And so he constantly is trying to escape. And so they catch him, they beat him up, they throw him back in the cell. But they know he's a general, so they're like, we can't kill him, he's leverage. We could do something with him, but he's always escaping. And, the thing is when you see him in the cell and he starts smelling, and he kind of tricks the guards to come over to the door, and then he's like, no, a little more left. And then they break through the wall, and take out the guards, and he's like, all right, cool. And it's Tigra and Panthro, and they're like, dude, come on, let's get out of here. It took forever to find you. He's like, hey, look, guys, it's war. What are you gonna do? The lizards kept throwing him in kind of higher security places and moved him around a lot just because he kept trying to escape. Would say, hey, look, it's nothing personal, guys. It's only business, because he's the true soldier. He does what he's told. He's a good leader, but he follows orders. And for him, as a soldier, he doesn't take anything personally. And so he kind of tells the Lizardmen this, as he steps over their bodies. He's like, sorry, guys, nothing personal. This is war. So we see this theme kind of happen recurrently with him, and they're trying to escape. And, meanwhile, Mumm-Ra is talking to Slithe, and, Pumaira has led the forces extremely well over these last few years, taking down Thundercat strongholds and breaking up their camps and taking down rebels and all this stuff. Pumaira's been awesome, and you can see her really getting a seat at the table with Mumm-Ra. And she's like, if you just give me more power, I'll stop this once and for all. I'll take down Lion-O and the rest of those Thundercats. Just give me more. And Mumm-Ra's like, yo, slow down. When I'm ready, we'll see. If you're serious, then maybe. But for now, we'll see. He's like looking at Slithe, and he's like, yo, man, you are doing awful. You're losing all the time. If anyone's to blame, it's you for this. I need to know that you're going to succeed, or I'll find someone else. And so Slithe's pissed because he got reprimanded, and Pumaira's kind of rubbing his nose in it, and the other, Monkey and Jackalman are kind of laughing at him, even though they're, worthless too. So Slithe goes, okay, fine, and then he hears about that there's this, breakout, and that the Thundercat's there, and he's just like, nope, I'm not having this. This time it's for real. And he kind of flashes back to fighting the Thundercats back in the day. And it starts when he's just like, I can't even remember when why I started this. he kind of lost his way, and it started when his back in his village there was the Great Hunt, and all of the lizard men would go out and they would have this massive hunt, and they were going to bring back the food, and the women would go out into the marshes, and they would basically gather all the eggs, the hatchlings, the new lizard children, and this was this big event, and they were going to come back. Well, what we don't know is that Claudius, he wanted more land for the Thundercats, and he's just like, why don't you go get that useless marshland that's out there? If we work on it, you know, like, we can plant new fields and crops, and we can feed the Thundercats. Cool, go get it. The lizards were already kind of reprimanded and kind of pushed back into that, and we set that up in the second episode, if you remember, when Lina was confronting the lizard men in the stocks, or the stockade, and they were saying like, yeah, you know, we've already been pushed back, we don't get the food, you take everything. So we're calling back to that, and Claudius basically gave Lingso an order. He said, go clear those fields, we need them. And so Lingso, of course, followed orders. He didn't know that the marshlands were the breeding grounds of the lizard people. So Lingso takes the troops, and he starts lighting the fields ablaze. And of course, that kills all the women and children of the lizardmen tribe. And so, of course, the here comes Sly and all of his friends, and you know, their families are now lost, and they're like, you know, you see Sly like, damn, you know, because he sees Lingso, and Lingso doesn't see him clearly, but he sees Lingso across this burning field, and Lingso's, you know, he knows that there's lizard men, and so he goes, sorry, nothing personal, it's only business, you know. And so that day you see the flame of vengeance burn in Slide's eye. You know, he just vows that he'll destroy the Thundercats someday. And so as we see this kind of, you know, now that Slide is coming for Lingso, because he knows that, you know, he's the prisoner that's been breaking out all the time. I mean, he goes full throttle, gets into this giant lizard mech, and really starts chasing them down. And in the fight, Tigra gets hurt, and Panthro has to carry him out. And, you know, here it is, Lingso is blind, and he still doesn't know the way out of the forest. He's, you know, even though he would survive, you know, here's this giant lizard mech bearing down on him. It's not going to, you know, it's not going to go well. So Lingso goes, go ahead, take Tigra back to the Thundercats' lair. You know, they're not going to do anything to me. They'll throw me in a cage, but I'll survive. You know, I'll make it. You know, I've been in prison all this time, and I'm okay. So go. And so Panther's like, we'll find you. We'll come back for you. And he goes, I know you will. You know, like, just go. So Tigra and Panthro bounce. And, you know, now we get to a fight where Lingso actually fights this giant lizard mech one-on-one, you know, and he's actually holding his own. He's doing a pretty good job, but it is, you know, a Thundercat versus a giant mech, you know. So in that fight too, we also continue the saga, and we watch how, you know, even in this, Slithe is thinking back on all these times that time after time after time, he's literally fought the Thundercats and lost, and he's watched this graveyard that he first buried his wife. He's watched this graveyard now grow with all of his friends that have died in battle with him, you know, until he's putting the last stones on a grave, and he goes back to his wife's tombstone, or like her rock pile, I guess, and he's just like, oh my god, I've lost everything. Like, I have nothing left. Everyone I know, like, we've all died for you, you know, or died for this cause, and I have nothing. And, you know, what is this this journey of vengeance been but to take everything from me? You know, I have nothing to beat the Thundercats. And that's when Mumra walks up to him and goes, I have something that might help. And that was the day he struck a deal with the devil. You know, that was when he paired up with Mumra. And so now it justifies like his means of like why Slythe is so bloodthirsty to attack the Thundercats. And the hope was it's like now you kind of sympathize with Slythe a little bit and be like, wow, you know, Thundercats kind of jerks. Like, what happened? You know, like, he has every right to kind of want to come after the Thundercats, you know, after something like that, in some way. You know, like, you can kind of feel for the guy. Yeah, this whole time, you just thought he was just he's deep, and he's, you know, he's on a quest for vengeance, and he's failing, you know, and even with what he thought would help him, you know, now is and help his people, you know, like he was the Lizardmen's leader, and then he's just like, what am I doing? I'm literally I've sold them out, you know, because you see now the lizards are, you know, Mumra's treating them like shit. You know, they have failed, and he's just like wiping them out, you know, he's just blasting them like they're worthless. And you know, here he is kind of feeling guilty that his people are under the rule of Mumra in this way, like he sold them out for this quest of vengeance. And you know, now he has this way of looking at Linkso where, you know, he's just like, no, this time I have to get the power back. I have to do this right for my people, and give them, you know, what they deserve. And so he comes after Linkso, and, you know, while the machine breaks down, you know, Linkso's actually kicked the machine's butt a bit, but he still goes down, you know, and so Linkso's there, he's battered, he's bruised, you know, he gets on his knees, and he's just like, all right, take me back, fine, you know, I'll go back to your jail. And Slythe's like, there won't be a jail this time, you know. He says, it's not business, it's very personal. You see him bring his axe sword down into the camera and just cleave it. So Linkso dies.